Hello, everyone. Once again, thank you for joining us on The Collective, where collaboration never ends. My name is Chad Talbot, the CEO of 911 Academy. And as always, I have my amazing host, Andre Sanchez.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Andre Sanchez, founder and CEO of Nexus Energy International. And we have the pleasure today of being in an awesome environment. We are at Oak Grove Center's Culinary Creations, and it's a wonderful coffee shop, and they've graciously allowed us to come do our podcast here because we have done some partnering with them for some other endeavors. But what I'm really excited about is our guest today. We have with us someone that is phenomenal, someone that has a true testimony, someone that we can all learn from, and someone that is my source of inspiration, along with my co-host. So today here we have Devondria Sanchez, also known as D, who is the Fit Therapist. D, thank you for being with us today. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me. Of course, it's always a pleasure to work with you too. So thanks for having me.
Oh, no, thanks for being here. This has been a long time in the making, right?
We're waiting on this one. This has been like, hey, when are we getting her down here?
Exactly. You know? We dialed her in. We made her do a road trip, and we cornered her. And now we cornered her. Right? There's no escaping. So, D, you are such a dynamic person. You have had quite the journey throughout your 21 years of life, right? Wink, wink. And, I'm just so happy you are able to be here today and are taking the time to share a little bit about who you are and what your journey has been. So with that, all eyes on you. Tell us a little bit about what is, or how did you become the Fit Therapist, and what your journey has been to get to where you are now.
So, yes.
Loaded question, right?
Yes, it is. It is. It's layers to it, but
how much time do we have?
Right.
TikTok.
Right. It is TikTok. Definitely layers to it. So, Fit, finding inner transformation, started off, at least what I thought was going to be this beautiful marriage of physical fitness and mental health. And God was like, nope, you're going to do some other things with that. So, under Fit, and we definitely look at the whole person. So whole person care. What does this person need from a physical aspect, a spiritual aspect, an emotional and mental aspect? And then we work on bringing that best version of that person out. And so Fit started about 6 years ago. The name started 6 years ago. The transformation started from birth. Little did I know that God was preparing me to be the Fit Therapist. And so coming from a childhood of chaos and trauma and mental illness with my stepfather, little did I know I was getting shaped and molded to pursue a career in mental health. And so taking all of those things that I've been through, the traumas that I experienced, I decided to take a reflective look at my own life and say, what is it that I need to learn from that?
Right.
And so leaving my high school at about 185 pounds.
And that's unbelievable. I mean, because look at her now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, poster child, literally, for any powerful woman out there.
Even
period.
Man, I don't even like standing next to her.
I'm feeling a little. Start pulling these down because I'm high or crawling on the couch somewhere. Or something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, leaving high school at 185 pounds,
That's
and
amazing.
then by the end of my first year in college, I was 240 pounds.
What?
And I definitely, whenever I show people pictures, including myself, when I look back,
that's like a whole other person.
Yeah, it was really hard.
Literally. Yeah.
Yes, and what I didn't know then that I know now is I was eating away at my traumas. I was using it as a form of avoidance and comfort, as many people do, is what I learned over the years.
Because food is comfort. I mean, I don't care if you're going through trauma or not. Everybody likes to eat, and especially if you're going through trauma, you really like to eat.
Yes.
Well, that's right, and it's one of the most accessible drugs, if you will, in order to appease, yourself in the moment, right?
Yeah.
So I think we've all been
guilty,
and it's easy to fall into that trap. But anyway, not stealing your thunder. Matter of fact, while we're talking about it, I got hungry. Somebody give me a donut.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
I was probably less concerned about the way I looked when I was 240 than when I got to a point in my life where I was going through bodybuilding competitions or running.
Right.
And that started being associated with grief because my mom was sick. And so I did that as a means to just kind of avoid the reality. And I think we all do that, and everybody has a different vice.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, that's an amazing story. So obviously you are extremely well educated, so can we talk about that a little bit, like the process? And because you said you were in college, but you didn't just go to college and get a bachelor's degree. I mean, you went and crushed it, right?
Yes.
I mean, you took it to the 10th level.
Well,
and then upped it after that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I will say thank you for that. So I did 4 years. Most people do 4 years. I did 4.5. And that was
4.5 your plan.
That was to make up the first year that I didn't do so well. But I was the first time away from home, and I think every kid kind of has that experience. So I ended up getting a bachelor's of arts degree in sociology, and then when I came back to California, I was in Oklahoma. I came back to California. My stepdad said, "Now what? What are you gonna do?"
Exactly.
It's time
Boy.
Right.
I mean, your mom was living here by herself.
Right. What are you doing back, and how long you staying?
Yes.
Yeah.
And found a program and obtained a master's in human behavior under psychology.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it was a non-licensed eligible program, which basically means you have the master's, but you do not have the credentialing that will get you set up to be a licensed therapist in the state of California.
Right.
Which was okay.
So state of California, or is that any state throughout the U.S.?
State of California.
Okay,
for
so
sure.
so that would have maybe helped you in other states.
And it did.
Okay.
Yeah, it did. I was able to use my master's degree in South Carolina and do therapy.
So it wasn't a waste.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't. However, when we came back to California, being a military spouse, state of California said, no,
That's
you
right.
will not touch any client, see any client without going into getting 3,000 hours of internship and then sitting for 2 license exams.
3,000 hours of internship. So how long does that take?
Well,
3,000 hours.
'Cause you got to work underneath somebody, right?
Yes.
I mean, is it like months, a year, 2 years?
So
That's a long time. 3,000 hours.
Well, in the state of California, you cannot take the test under 2 years. So even if you work, and you got it done. But most people, it takes them from 2 to 4 years.
Got it.
I got it done in about 2.5 years.
Wow.
And went to
That's
both.
amazing. That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's impressive because you got to stay the course on that.
Yeah, there's no drifting.
Yeah, no drifting.
I mean, it's like television.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes, and so then took both state test exams, passed the first time, which was nothing but God, because
Because that was no joke.
State of
Right,
California
yeah.
is a pretty hard test, amongst other states. So, and then just kept doing what I knew to do, which was psychotherapy. And so I worked county government for a while before realizing I can do some unique things under my own name. And created FIT.
And FIT stands for?
Finding Inner Transformation.
Finding inner transformation. That is genius. And now this is the part where I brag. Well, actually, I'm going to brag on both of these two. Okay, I'm going to brag on both of these two. So, I've always somewhat been into fitness. You've known my journey. Was 210 pounds myself. Still worked out. Still ride my bike, but really didn't embrace diet and fitness and how that can also be a motivating factor in your life. Well, both of these two fine individuals to my right, your left, as you're looking at the screen, have both been in bodybuilding competitions, have both been super fit. And Chad, maybe I'll edit in some pictures of him. Back in the day, when he did it, and he's still, whatever, regardless of what he's saying, he's still a fit guy.
Yes.
And so, first I'll ask you a couple questions as it relates to fit therapy, and then I'll ask you some both general questions before we get into the secret squirrel, which we're going to talk about collaboration.
Yep.
So, to start with you, to pick on you again, which is so fun, by the way. I'm enjoying this, right?
Yeah, because people don't understand the relationship here, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Right.
They don't understand the. So this is my sister-in-law. This is my older brother's wife, and believe it or not, this is my brother here too.
Yes, sir.
And for life, no matter what. So, what America should look like every day, all day.
Yep.
But we won't go down there because we're just gonna be about it and not speak about it, and that's one thing.
Right. Save your drama for your mama. We don't want
drama for your mama. We don't want none here. So, D, you have been involved in so many fitness competitions, bodybuilding, running. we see the collateral benefit, which is also the aesthetics, right? She looks great. I mean, her guns are bigger than mine. I hide mine away in a small room when she comes over the house, right? but so tell me, what did fitness do for you mentally in your journey as something to focus on and kind of get yourself from point A to B to C using your fitness? Because I have known her for several years, obviously, and I see spiritually, mentally, obviously, physically, the transformation, and I looked up to that. I mean, we're the same. I'm actually a little older than her, but we're generally the same age. But I looked up to you, and I used you as that guiding light, and you didn't even know it. So now that I have you on camera and I can ask you, which I've never asked you this before, what did that journey do for you? Not just the, discourse of America, hey, be fit, eat this and gluten-free and all that, but what did the journey do for you in terms of your growth as a person into what you bring to the table now and who you are?
So, many things, actually. I didn't have a lot of understanding about fitness and health. I just jumped in. And I think you just jumped in, right? 240 pounds, I didn't know what to do. Maybe that meant eat half a honey bun instead of 4, right? I mean, I was doing good. Maybe I don't fry the chicken in flour.
I can't.
Maybe I'll put it on broil.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have a full understanding,
Right.
and it just like ourselves, we're all progressive. At least we should be, right? Because there's some things that are going to happen regardless if you intentionally do them or not. We're going to get older intentionally. The time is going to happen. Change is going to happen regardless of what we do. So originally, I went in very naive, and I think that was probably the best thing I could have done initially.
Okay.
And I say that because then you don't get hyper focused on the food and what to eat, what not to eat, what to do, what not to do, and you get to learn to just enjoy it and experiment versus being only focused on one thing.
Right.
And so that's what happened. Me and a friend of mine, she was about 275, I was 240. Wow. We got up before everybody in college because we were still a little, trying to hide what we were doing, and we'd walk the track, and then it got to the point we could walk the bleachers and then run, and then we started tackling into our diets. And tackling in our diets meant we're going to share a honey bun.
Right, yeah.
Versus eat 4 or talking each other down from the snack bar, And that really happened.
That partnership.
Yes.
That's right.
And it was good because that's what it should be, community. And that's what we're talking about today. And so fast forward, and again, I use fitness as a way to cope. So it does help with coping. There's some things that are healthy that we can do unhealthy.
Right.
And that's kind of one of the things that happened. Instead of addressing the grief, I used running as a way of escape.
So let me ask you, that's interesting. I'm going to get to you next. I got a lot of questions for you too.
Okay.
Because to be honest with you guys, like, I love fitness. I'm pretty good at it. I was one of the master fitness trainers when I was in the Army. I trained all the remedial PT failures and stuff, but I wasn't taking it to the level where I'm competing. Yeah. And that takes strong mental fortitude, tenacity, dedication, staying the course. And real quick, last question on this coping thing, because I like how you're expanding on that. But really, for the tangible, because we like to give the people that are watching the show a takeaway. So when you say cope, give that to me in this example. You have a rough day, maybe had an altercation with somebody, maybe there's something stressed out. So you then say, you know what, I have all this inside of me. Do you then put your running shoes on and then go out and run, or do you deliberately do it, saying this is how I'm going to diffuse myself from these feelings, or how does that work?
So sometimes in traumatic experiences or in trauma, it can get, a lot of times it gets stuck in our body. And so I had no consciousness about that I was using running as a way of coping. I was not aware that that's what it was. I was introduced to the sport, and then watching my sick mom, it just seemed easier to go out and do these things.
Gotcha.
So running just became a way of escape without even realizing that's what was in my body, that anxiety that was in my body, the sadness, the grief, denial, shock, everything that was happening around me. It didn't matter when you ran. It's kind of like people that use alcohol or drugs to cope. It's like, there's no problem when you drink. And there's no more problems because I don't have to deal with reality, because it kind of numbs all of those.
Yeah,
exactly.
That makes sense.
So that's what it was for me. It wasn't this intentional, I'm going to go out and run because my mom's dying. I was running.
It was your cigarette, it was your coffee, it was your donut, it was your drug, but it just happens to be fitness, which is one of the best things to do. Hey, do something healthy. Instead of picking up a honey bun, pick up an apple.
Yeah.
Instead of picking up a sugar-filled diet drink up a tea and put, so I'm getting it now. So thank you for that, because I just wanted to make sure that as I'm planning because I do that sometimes, so you guys know I'm a big cyclist and all that stuff. So thank you for expanding on that, because we all can always use more techniques, more strategies in our life. There is not one recipe. There's always one, I don't want to say skin a chicken, because we might have some vegans or something watching the show, but there's one way to approach the scenario,
Yeah.
Now for you.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, I'm digging deep now.
Here we go.
I'm digging deep. So Chad, just real quick, bouncing off of that, what type of chemicals and what type of toxins and what is, when you're working out, when you're running, when you're pumping iron, whatever, what happens to the body during that time? What's released or I'm assuming you know that as a bodybuilder.
Well, everybody releases endorphins, right? Okay. So, and different, like they talk about with you running, the runner's high, and when I was in the Navy and Naval Special Warfare as a special boat team operator, we'd run miles and miles and swim, and it's almost like you can run literally forever, because you get in this like euphoric kind of feeling,
Right.
And I've only really experienced that with running and swimming. Not bodybuilding, because it's the difference between anaerobic and aerobic, right?
Right.
Bodybuilding, I never ever experienced anything like that, but definitely, the aerobic side for sure. So that is definitely the physiological effect of that. You know what I mean? And you can get addicted to that. You really can.
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's a whole other,
Absolutely.
Where you, maybe it's the 5th, 6th, 7th, maybe 8th mile or whatever. Like, I'm there. And then you're in that zone.
Would you agree? Can I?
Yeah, absolutely. Please. Hey, D, put him on the spot now.
Yeah, please.
Just don't look this way. Go that way.
That there's a different feeling, at least for myself, when I run versus lift weights.
100%.
It is a different feeling.
Yeah,
I can agree to that. Yeah, I can agree to that. I can concur.
And I'll be 100% honest, because of some of the injuries I sustained, I truly missed that. Because I physically can't run anymore because of some stuff that I deal with. And so even when you and I, right, over at your place, we were going around the block, and I was like, I'm going to do at least a little shuffle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She looked at me like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Just walk.
Exactly.
Yes.
Don't hurt yourself.
Right.
But that's hard, because I had to check my ego at the door and realize that I'm not that same man anymore. Yeah. Right. So I had to readjust. Right. After one of my last tours in Iraq, and realizing that God's humbled me, and where I was a running, swimming fool at one time.
Right.
And now I can barely do what we call a bud shuffle. You know what I mean? Literally. So so I had to, figure out other ways of trying to get to that point,
Right.
And to be completely honest with you, I have yet to get that euphoric high. There's just nothing like it.
You're right.
I just haven't been able to do it. I can't do the elliptical enough like this to get, get to that level.
And I think sometimes it also starts becoming not about the endorphins, the dopamine, the serotonin.
Right.
It becomes about what do I want to do? How do I want to be in life?
Yeah.
And there becomes a difference between fitness and health. And the goal is to be, at least for myself, I do fitness, which is the competition, the performance,
right.
But then there's the health. Like, I want to be around to chase my grandkids around.
There you go.
I want to be around to do a few steps without getting out of breath. I want to be able to do those things. I want to have a healthy mind, a healthy body, spiritual health, and working out is hard on the body.
Yeah, it is.
And it can be. So you want to do more smart fitness things, and you want to take other considerations. And so, it's great for the mind, right? Just to go out and walk. Yeah. That's what they say. Like 30 minutes, 4 times a week.
Get the blood flowing, circulation.
Yeah.
Get that lymphatic system moving.
Yes.
Upper body, lower body, which is a big part. And that's why people, do like HIIT training or CrossFit or things of that nature.
Right.
Besides just doing like, I'm just going to do biceps today. Or I'm just going to do triceps, right? And create that full lymphatic system, because that'll create the synergy between your whole body.
Yeah.
And not just a portion of it.
And that's important too. And I'm glad you brought that up. As you all may know too, not plugging my company, but we might as well while we're here. Nexus Energy International also does veterans benefits. We train you to be your own VA advocate, right? Now, how this plays into that, and I'm glad you mentioned that, those folks in the military, and those for you watching, especially if you're in the military, you have a loved one in the military, that's very important what he said, because as you get out, our bodies age, we obviously have traumas that we experience, not just from being downrange or deployed, abroad, but just training. It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, she's married to a 25, 26-year-old, 26-year Navy veteran.
26-year-old?
Yeah, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I got me a pup.
You still.
I got me a young thing.
Cradle robber. But I say that to say, with what you just said, we use the term from the VA etiology. So as you said, you need to work your core, you need to work everything together so it works in synchronicity, right? As you're gaining muscle, as you're gaining endurance, as you're gaining your strength, working towards your goals. Well, fast forward, you're out of the military now. Now I got a bad knee, right? I got a bad left knee. Okay, and then you get service connected for that. Now you got a bad right knee or lower back. Well, guess what? That same concept of the body working together as a unit, you need to have your core, legs, arms, not just target focus, has something to do with the VA now. Because if my left knee goes bad, guess what? And it's service connected. Now, if my right knee goes bad or my back, it's still what they call secondary or tertiary service connected, meaning that knee went bad. Oh, now this knee's going bad. But they work in conjunction. They work in,
It's a collateral effect.
Collateral effect. And so I'm glad that you brought that up. So even, and we're going to segue for the sake of time here, but we can talk about fitness all day and you guys can train me all day.
Yeah.
But as we segue, one of the things that we talk about here on the collective is, right, where collaboration never ends and we're always trying to innovate, right? We're innovators. Especially being small business owners and taking on these new projects, we have to be innovative. We also have to be innovative in how we're doing fitness now, but now you need to start connecting the pieces, meaning focus on your fitness now, but we do get old. We have a shelf life.
Yeah, I always say check your ego at the
Check your ego at the door. We have a shelf life. I mean, I did y'all work yesterday and thought I was going to work out afterward. Wrong answer. My body was like, hey, you're over 40. You don't do both. You do one or the other.
Pick your poison.
Yes, pick your poison. So I'm really glad that we're able to have this discussion because this is what I call the follow through. You got to start somewhere, but you also, as you get older, you need to worry about where you're going to end. And this is one thing that I cannot stress enough to veterans and their family members, and anybody really, not just veterans. Even though you're worried about the now, you need to worry about the later, and you need to tie everything in. And when it comes to fitness, especially now if you're a veteran going after a claim, you want to make sure that everything you're doing is documented, and just remember the body, each individual part, may work by itself. Really, it works as one team, one fight.
Yeah, it does.
Body.
Yeah.
And that's the perspective that everyone should have with the VA claim as well.
Yeah.
So, sorry it was a little bit of a soapbox, but I felt it was appropriate, and thank you guys for sharing that. I definitely would like in the future to do another segment because and you guys don't know this, my co-host here, he's got an amazing story of triumph, of overcoming a grave injury, and I don't want to go too far into it, but it's an awesome story. It's an empowering story. Maybe we'll have you on that show as well, so you can talk about some of the different aspects of maybe what he was going through, because
the psychological aspects of it too.
It's huge,
and depression comes in many forms.
That's right.
Where I didn't think I was personally depressed when I was going through my stuff because I was mad all the time. I was angry,
right?
But that's a form of depression, right?
Yes.
So and and then for me now personally is like, you talk about checking you at the door. I'm about mobility and can I walk today? Right. So that's a win. I got up out of bed and I was able to walk today.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's being humble, brother.
Yeah.
And that's why he's our brother, because his amount of humility and humbleness that he has is second to none. And again, I can't wait to brag about him being a SWIC operator. Maybe he'll give me the picture where he looked like Patrick Swayze. I don't know if he will or not, but he was a good-looking special operator.
And it's all connected.
That's
Everything that you just said, even from the fitness part of it to that psychological part, but at the roots is spiritual. To be humble.
Yeah.
To go away from moral injury, which some of our veterans come back from, some of the things they had to do, had to see that they wouldn't have never done had they not been in the military, and overcoming that. To be able to be humble enough to say, I can't fit my dungarees anymore or my camis, and because our bodies have a shelf life,
right?
We're spiritual beings, and so how do we still have this connection, this joy, this peace, and this comfort that is already in us?
Right.
Well, it's only from our Lord and Savior, number one.
Exactly.
It's only from
Yeah.
God that we can even show up and be that part of ourselves and
That's
be
right.
okay to say, I'm humble enough to accept that I can't be what I used to be.
Yeah, because I sure as heck can't do it on my own. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that right now.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be where I'm at today without God.
Yes.
Oh,
You know,
goodness.
literally. I mean, no joke.
Yes.
That's right.
You know, and that's
Amen.
another day, another story.
Amen.
But so every day I don't take for granted.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's like, once he's at the core, then all these other things start manifesting in our lives,
Yeah.
and then life becomes purposeful.
That's right.
Like God used you to be in the VA so you can help other veterans.
Right.
Because that is a gift that he's given you. Everybody doesn't have that.
That's right.
I
I
don't
agree to
have
that.
it.
I accept
You
that and
know,
I agree to that.
Chad
I
was in the
receive that.
military.
Yeah.
He's not a veteran advocate and
Yeah, no.
and
Yeah.
assisting
No.
others because that's your gift.
Yeah.
Right.
And he had to allow you to go through that. Same thing with Chad. I mean,
Yeah.
hello. I don't want to do a fraction of the stuff that you have done.
Yeah.
And I've known Chad 19 years
Long
now.
time now.
Yeah.
19 years, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I have no desire.
Yeah.
But I know that God has embraced you and equipped you and created you to do that. And I
Yeah.
believe that I was 240 pounds, so I can come back and serve others.
Right.
And go through mental health in my own household to see the wickedness of mental illness and what it can do for families and for an individual, and then be able to serve that back.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Look, guys.
It's amazing.
We got about 3 minutes left on the clock, so without further ado, again, this is a collective where collaboration never ends, and this is truly the case here. So real quick, between you two, tell me about the exciting fight or flight journey that we're on and how fit therapy dovetails in there. And Chad, I'm going to throw it over to you because you can kind of just give a real brief synopsis of what's going
I'll
on.
break it down really quick. There's a lot of craziness going on in the world today, right? And people are scared. People are afraid. People, whether it's from everything we're talking about,
Yeah.
from a physical or mental health side, right? What are people's life-saving skills? What are they doing to protect themselves, their friends or loved ones, their family?
Right.
So this amazing guy named Kung Lee, former UFC, MMA legend, Strikeforce champion, done a bunch of different movies, real powerful, strong Christian,
Right.
created this amazing TV show called Fight or Flight. You're gonna fight or flight. So basically it's talking about all the different craziness that's going on. We'll pick a few videos, we'll talk about it, and then we try to give empowerment back to the people. And how do we do that? We do that through life-saving skills. So I am the tactical guy on the team for as 911 Academy and preparing you with those life-saving skill sets, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
D, you're a mental health specialist because everybody goes through these trauma,
Yeah.
right? How do they deal with that stuff,
Yes.
right? So you're the subject matter expert on all that. I'm the tactical guy. We have Kung Lee as a hand-to-hand guy. And then we bring in subject matter experts as needed, whether it's a doctor, a lawyer, talking about, really your legalities of, God forbid, somebody enters your home and you do have to use a higher level of force. God forbid you shoot them or something
Which
happens.
is totally a reality now. It's getting worse.
What do you do, right? Or if somebody's bleeding out in a mass casualty drill, how are you going to save your loved ones? So we'll bring in, let's say, a PJ or 18 Delta Green Beret, combat medic of some sort, who is, or a doctor,
Right.
or a fireman or somebody to help give us another aspect. So we're really covering all the basis. Are you going to fight or are you going to flight?
Right.
Really? And what are those life-saving skills that we're going to give you in our new TV show? So there hasn't been a better time, right, than today to do this.
And we are so excited for the show. All right, guys. Well, it looks like we're running out of time. Man, the time has just melted away with you guys. I feel like we've been talking for 3 minutes.
I don't know, it just flew by. It was so much fun.
Yes. So genuinely, thank you both for being here with me. Like you said, I don't have a choice, and neither do you guys.
Right.
You know,
Right. Hey,
yeah.
this is the marathon plan.
Right.
I'm gonna follow you around like oxygen.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, and so am I.
Now I'm
Right? I just made that up, by the way. So if you guys want to use that, go ahead. But anyway, I really look forward to having you both on another show. I look forward to our continued collaboration. You will see these two are two of the hosts of the show. I'm the behind the camera guy. You may see me somewhere, but you won't even know it's me. I'll be disguised. But they're the hosts of the show. I really look forward.
What show is that?
Fight or Flight, baby.
right.
Fight or Flight. Yeah, there you go.
What host are we?
Right.
Fight or Flight. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. You know, we're looking forward to changing lives, right? That's what the show's about. It's about, you know, God's plan working through us, using us as a vehicle to effectuate and make change, positive, create conversation, create collaborations, you know, make everything more solvent in our lives by using him and really, you know, trying to really deliver our purpose, right? And what we're supposed to do. So we know the show is at least, if anything, going to help somebody watching it. And that's our goal, to give back, to make people more safe. Not so they can go around like superheroes, but so they can go around and help others and be educated and more aware of threatening situations.
Feeling prepared.
Feeling prepared.
Like they have tools in their toolbox.
That's right.
Sounds like you're preaching for 911 Academy's, you know, mantras.
That's right. I'm sneaking that in too. Saving lives daily.
For all Americans.
All Americans. You are the first responder.
You are the first responder. We say it all the time.
That's right. So, yes, guys, once again, thank you. And thank you all for watching this. We hope that you are getting something out of this, which that's always our hope. Please comment, get involved in the conversation. Ask questions. Yes, ask us the tough questions. Ask me some tough questions. I like to scratch my head and figure out.
Hey, you got a licensed family therapist. Am I saying that correct?
Licensed marriage and family
marriage too.
Marriage. That's right.
Family.
How many people are struggling right now with COVID and being underneath the same household for so long?
Exactly.
I guarantee you.
Oh no.
There's a lot.
Yes.
I mean,
relationship problems ranked number 2 during COVID.
Yeah. See that?
First was loneliness and isolation. Second was relationship problems. And third was past traumas.
Wow.
And fourth was COVID.
Oh, wow.
COVID wasn't even leading it. Yes. Wow.
That's crazy. Yeah. So,
Yes. Relationship problems was number 2.
So nonetheless,
ask these questions.
Yes, ask the questions. Get a little bit of, I won't say free, but, you know, get involved in the conversation and ask some questions, because again, you know, if you think learning is done when you graduate college or grad school, you can think again. We are always need to be that sponge, need to position ourselves so that we're continuously learning and giving back, right?
That's right.
Paying it forward. So, hey, once again, I'm Andre Sanchez with Nexus Energy International with my wonderful host, Chad Talbot, CEO and founder of 911 Academy, and Devondria Sanchez, CEO and founder of Fit Therapy, Finding Inner Transformation. Check it out. She's a phenomenal woman, a great source of inspiration, and she's still out here being about it, not just speaking about it. So we'll see you guys next time on another episode of The Collective.